Hey, what's up, everybody? It's the Fantasy NBA today. Rick Kamla, Hall of Famer Steve Alexander, aka Dr. A. Doc, we are rolling here, baby. 30 teams in the NBA. We are taking a sizable bite out of every one of these teams, our 30-team parade through the offseason. We continue today, Doc, with a couple of heavyweights, bro. We got the Golden State Warriors, the Denver Nuggets, and we will dive in and diagnose from a fantasy perspective after I tell you about our great sponsor, BetOnline. BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for all your sports betting action. With baseball in full swing, we are deep into the NBA and NHL finals. BetOnline has more ways to stay in on the action with the latest odds, news, and scores, and even live in-game betting while the games are being played. We keep the dog days of summer rolling with the largest selection of odds on everything. Updated odds on MLB, UFC, boxing, tennis, NFL futures. BetOnline remains the best online source for your sports wagering info and in between games. Go over to the BetOnline casino with all the top Vegas-style games, including poker and a live casino. Good luck, BetOnline. The game starts here. Doc, let's start with the Warriors. Come out and play. Who is your fantasy MVP for the Dubs?
Jonathan Kuminga. I'm just kidding.
He joked.
Steph Curry is the answer. It's the only right answer. It's certainly not Jimmy Butler. I do know that. Certainly not Steve Kerr, Rick. I think you and I can agree on that. 70 games, 25 points, 4.5 boards, 6 assists, a steal, tons of threes, efficient player. Buddy Hield played in 82 games, but he was a disaster. Like, you talk about inconsistent and not knowing his role and just a mess. We'll talk about him later. But Steph Curry, MVP.
Steph Curry, MVP, I agree. There can be no other choice that's not sarcastic. He remains a solid first-round pick in fantasy drafts. Has not slipped around 2 yet. He's a back end of round 1 guy and still a really, really good pick. There is injury risk with him, maybe a little bit more than, say, with a Halliburton or an Edwards or a Trae Young. Cade Cunningham has had his injury things. It seems like he's past that. But, the injury thing with Curry does haunt a little bit. But the games played is still hanging in there. And, last year, 24, 4, and 6. Love it. 1.1 steals, 4.4 threes, the highest per game in the league. Played 70 games last year. Doc, do you still view Stephen Curry as a safe first-round pick?
I do. It's funny. He's the guy, when I first coined the now not world-famous phrase, Dorito ankles, it was Steph Curry's ankles that I was talking about. And his ankles used to be made of Doritos, and he was always getting hurt. But then at some point that changed, and he was healthy every year. And I became accustomed to him playing in a bunch of games and not getting hurt every year. Now, it's gone back the other way just a little bit, but I still don't think of him as an injury-prone player.
Yeah, he's safely a first-round guy for me as well. I wanted to vet that with you. All right, Doc, players who surprised for the Golden State Warriors last year.
I'm going to go with no one. I've got a disappointed list, but no one on that team, in my opinion, at least, Quentin Post, right? Started 14 games, played in 42, had some good, he played meaningful minutes for this team. But then again, Steve Kerr played a rotation that was bigger than I don't even know what. He was playing 14 guys a night. So eventually everybody on this team did something. But it was all so disappointing. I don't have much there.
So I'm going to give you one guy, Draymond Green. Draymond Green became a 1-1-1 guy. I actually didn't look this up. I believe that's the first time in his year he's been a 1-1-1 guy with 1 block, 1.5 steals, and 1.2 three balls per game for Draymond. I'm going to look it up right now. Is it the first time he's ever done that? If he's done it, it's been like 1 or 2 times. But
So are you saying
I
that
don't think he's done that before. And let's get here to.
Are you saying that he's no longer a triple single and that he's now a quadruple single?
Let's see here. Yeah, he's been 1-1-1 before. I'm tripping. Back his third, fourth, fifth, and sixth years in the league, he was a 1-1-1 guy. But he has not been a 1-1 guy for 6 consecutive years until last year. So he went 4 in a row, then didn't do it for 6 years, and then got back to doing it last year. So yeah, I mean, but Doc, I'm gonna mess with Draymond, dude. I am. Because of Jimmy Butler. Draymond played 68 games. The PRA was 9, 6, and 5. The points suck, but the rebounds and assists are pretty good. The 1-1-1 I like. His percentages were awful. Not that I care. Like, oh my God, I didn't even look at this. Did you know he shot 68% from the free throw line? I didn't even know that. 42% from the field. That's god awful, bro. Like, how? I don't even understand how you're shooting 42% from the field in a Kerr offense. But the counting numbers are pretty good, Doc. Like, late in drafts, like deep. I'd never overdraft Draymond, but I'll mess with Draymond, get a little PFC, get a little bit of 1-1-1 deep in a draft. How about you? Is Draymond, like, off your list? Would you mess with him at the right spot?
No, I'm not drafting that dude. I never have. I never will. Not a fan. My biggest Draymond memory, one of the dudes I worked with at Roto World drafted Draymond. He's like, I've got Draymond. He's going to ball out this year. Dude, he was offering us all trade offers for Draymond Green all year long. Like, just desperate to get this guy off his team. And he never could. Nobody ever bid. Nobody ever wanted him. I 9 points, 5, 6 boards. How old is this guy now? Draymond Green. 35 years old. No, I'm out. I have zero interest in Draymond.
Understood. Glad I asked. All right, Doc, I want to tell people about the Sports Ethos app. It's completely free. Go to your favorite app store, ladies and gentlemen. You can do it now while you're listening to us and download the app to your phone. It's completely free. We're making big investments over here in what we call the next generation of Sports Ethos. The app is a huge part of that. We're working hard behind the scenes to create the best fantasy product in the world. The app is a big part of that. So download it now. The Sports Ethos app, it's free. Stay on top of all the latest news for the NBA, NFL, and MLB. Take advantage of our fantasy basketball tools because our app is your ultimate edge. Don't miss out. Doc, how about players who disappointed for the Golden State Warriors last year?
Well, Jonathan Kuminga, because Kerr doesn't like him. Brandon Pajemski, I thought was going to be a major part of this team. I mean, there was talk of him taking 10 threes a game before the season started. That certainly didn't happen. Buddy Hield had as many 2 or 3 point games as he had 20-point games, it felt like. It's just Draymond Green scored 9 points a game. I didn't like that. Your guy, Trace Jackson Davis. I mean, I don't even know what to say there. I'll let you do the talking there. And it just generally just Steve Kerr's random ass, weird, expanded, confusing rotations were just a fantasy buzzkill all the way around. And I'm just really down on the whole vibe in Golden State right now. I just other than Curry, the rest of it just seems like kind of a mess. And when Jimmy Butler got there and turned his season around and suddenly cared about basketball and suddenly was like trying, I guess that was kind of neat. But it just makes me dislike Jimmy Butler that much more to know that he was holding back on us in Miami. So
Hold him back on us, bro. He wanted out, and he played the brat card to do so. Um, Steve Kerr literally might have cost me a 30 deep title. Doc, I had the best team in the regular season out of 30 teams, contender. I did not win the chip. If Trace Jackson Davis were the player I drafted him to be, which, Doc, by the way, I drafted him to be 11 points, 8 rebounds, 1.5 blocks. That's what I drafted Trace Jackson Davis to do. And had he played the minutes that I thought he was going to play, very, very capable of 11 and 8 with a block and a half. Dude, if I had 11 and 8 and a block and a half with Lopez, with Kessler, with SGA, with Levine, with Isaiah Joe, with all of these other like solid role players I had, I'm just saying, like, I don't know. I probably wouldn't have won the chip, Doc, because it just seems like the curse of the Luke Bino is going on over here. I just, no matter what, I'm a lead every year, and I can't win this damn thing. Oh, yeah, it's a weekly league, not a daily league. That's a huge hang up. You just got to set your lineup and deal with DNPs. It's so annoying. I honestly, dude, I think an executive decision should just be made. In my personal opinion. Like, there's so many people in the league, oh, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. I don't want to go daily. I think we should just go daily. And if people don't want to rock with it, then we can find other managers. That's my thing on it. Like, dude, weekly is we're not dinosaurs. We're not cavemen. Okay, like,
well, we kind of are, but yeah.
It's 2025,
dude. You got a direct link to the man that can, to the Wizard of Oz, the guy behind the curtain. Got a direct link to your boy Brewski now. You gonna just pull a coup and be like, bro,
there's no coups. There's no coups. It's his league, dude. I would recommend an executive decision because he's the last couple of years, I believe, he's sent out notes and kind of asked, what you're, and so many people push back on it, and so I don't know. Whatever. Who cares?
I'm fine. I don't care. I just don't care anymore. I'd be like, I am co-commissioner, but Brewski's kind of run that league for a long time, and I just kind of am his sounding board. Maybe I'll be more involved in the day-to-day operations of 30 Deep now that Brewski and I are working so closely together. But personally, I'd be fine with just sending out a note and say, hey, we're going to daily lineups. If you would no longer like to play in this league, just let me know. And just be done with it.
So I say all of this with all respect. If that does not happen, I will play 30 Deep again. And I love the league and love everybody involved. I'm just saying, I've said what I need to say. All right, let's move on. Who disappointed me? Obviously, the Trace Jackson Davis thing, Doc, was wild and crazy, I thought. And Moses Moody and Buddy Hield. Because Steve Kerr couldn't make up his dang mind with these guys. Buddy Hield's in, Buddy Hield's out. He did stick with Moody for a little while. Dude, Moody was a fantasy thing for like 2 weeks, and then it wasn't a thing anymore. Because the minutes just weren't there. And as soon as Jimmy Butler got on that team, Doc, they literally just needed Moses Moody to play sick'em defense and like not a lot of shots, not even kick out threes. So what could have been a little mini pop from Moses Moody wasn't. So that was a little bit disappointing. And once again, Moses Moody not really realizing the talents that he has in a Steve Kerr system. Shocking. All right, offseason outlook, dude. Let's talk Jonathan Kuminga because the summer of Kuminga is on several teams. The Brooklyn Nets, the Philadelphia 76ers, the Chicago Bulls, the Miami Heat. Okay, all are reportedly sniffing around Jonathan Kuminga. What to you would be the best fit, Doc, for Jonathan Kuminga? And I'll just these teams right here: Miami, Chicago, Philly, and Brooklyn. Where would you like to see him go?
I mean, Brooklyn would be the most fun, I think, because they need him the most, right? I'll say Brooklyn. I'm a Kuminga fan. Like, I want him to do well. I want him to go where he can succeed, which frankly should be anywhere but Golden State at this point. Like, no matter where he goes, it shouldn't be worse than it was in Golden State. So I'm going to say Brooklyn.
I'm going to agree. We've talked a lot about Brooklyn, Kuminga, Cam Johnson, Cam Thomas, Nick Claxton. Okay, I like that. And then, you need a point guard. We don't know who that's going to be. But that is, Doc, that would be an opportunity for Kuminga to be the number 2 option. And Cam Johnson might be the number 2 option. That may toggle night to night. But he's not going to be the first option. That's Cam Thomas, obviously. But he has a chance to be the second option in Brooklyn. That's intriguing. I also want to bring up Chicago. I think Chicago would be a really good home for Jonathan Kuminga because it doesn't sound like there's a report that they don't want to bring Josh Giddey and Kobe White back. So what that tells me is they want to pay Giddey and trade Kobe White. They're not going to get rid of Giddey. They just gave up Caruso. He popped. He was 6th overall pick a few years ago. They're going to pay Giddey and keep him. But it sounds to me like they may be looking to trade Kobe White. That would make me love Jonathan Kuminga in Chicago if Kobe White wasn't there. Because now Kuminga could arguably be a number 1 option, maybe with a Vooch, maybe with a Giddey. But Giddey, Doc, Giddey's not really trying to be the number 1 option. Do you know what I'm saying? He's trying to go like 19, 8, and 9 with like a triple-double-E type of line. But he's not your 27-point, your 25-point guy. He's more like in the teens and filling up the box score with love. So what would you think about Kuminga? Like if he and Buzelis, would you be excited about Matas Buzelis and Kuminga being the starting forwards of the Bulls?
Yeah, I would be, and I think that would finally bury the hatchet on our boy Pat Williams if that's not already taken care of.
It is.
So, yeah, Chicago would work too. Yeah.
We'll see, man. We'll see.
Anywhere but Golden State. Just get him away from Kerr, man.
Anywhere but Golden State. So is JK going to be one of your guys? Because he's probably going to be in my pop player article on sportsethos.com. Do you feel like, let's say he goes to the Brooklyn Nets, will he be one of your guys?
Probably. I don't know. I mean, it's hard. It's hard. Like every year, I'm like, "Ooh, I really like Kuminga," and then he didn't play. So you forget if he can even play. Like, but yeah, I mean, he's probably going to be if he lands in the right spot.
Look for that. Doc's My Guys article. It is a yearly staple. Gary Payton II is a free agent, Doc. He and the Warriors have a mutual desire for him to return. The Warriors reportedly are aiming for a discount contract. Good luck with that. I like GP2. GP2 could play for me, man. But it doesn't seem like he's going to leave. But he's a free agent, and that's going to be an issue for them. They do not have any first-round picks. And basically, Doc, free agency for the Golden State Warriors was Jimmy Butler. It was trading for Jimmy Butler. That was their get out in front of free agency 2025, kind of like Toronto did with Brandon Ingram. They went and got their guy in season as opposed to waiting for the offseason. So I don't see a lot of moves, Doc. I don't see trades. I see a Kuminga trade, like a sign-and trade where Golden State gets a few assets back. But, like, that's it. I don't think it's going to be a big splashy offseason for the Warriors. How about you?
Yeah, I mean, Kerr has so many guys on his team that he loves to play. Why would he want to let any of them free? No, I don't see a lot of big changes coming.
So head over to sportsethos.com, guys. It is Rick Kamla. It is Hall of Famer Steve Alexander with the Fantasy NBA today. Go to sportsethos.com. All of the work from our brilliant minds are over there. We pride ourselves on being competitive, taking no shortcuts, and delivering the best fantasy analysis in the game. Our drive is simple. Be the best, win, and make sure you win with us. So go over to sportsethos.com and subscribe to the football, to the baseball, to the basketball, to all of it. Whatever you want, man. The prices are as low as they will ever be. Our grandfather programs are going to make your subscription price incredibly cheap as we add more and more value to the platform. All right, Doc, looking ahead for the Warriors, what are you watching? You got any players to watch, any situations to watch? What's up?
No, I really don't. I mean, I think this team is just as long as Steve Kerr is coaching it, it's going to be a big rotation. He narrowed it down kind of towards the end of the year, and there were some playoff hopes when Jimmy got there and was functioning normally with Curry and Dre. So they'll look to keep that going. I would like to see Brandon Pajemski be the player next year that we thought he was going to be this year, because he was a huge disappointment. Andre's just telling us they underwent surgery to repair a core muscle injury, expected to make a full recovery. I don't know, man. I'm just to the point where fantasy and Steve Kerr do not mix for me, and I don't want to deal with any of them.
You know what you're going to get from Draymond, you know what you're going to get from Curry, and you know what you're going to get from Butler. Outside of that, you don't know. And outside of that, it's going to be a spin the bottle thing. This Pajemski news, he's expected to make a full recovery and be ready for the start of training camp. Here's the problem with this news, though. Okay, surgery to repair a core muscle injury. That means, Doc, a long period of inactivity because you've got to let that rest. And I'm not saying he's going to get flabby and out of shape. My point is this: he's going to be rehabbing and recovering and not building on his game, right? Like players talk all the time. They want a healthy offseason so they can add stuff as opposed to spend that time getting their body back just to the level it needs to be. So when your body's where it needs to be, now you build on top of that. You build skill, and maybe you work on ball handling, that kind of thing. So that's a buzzkill for Pajemski, who's a young, ascending, developing guy, and he's not going to be able to do as much developmental work as he would in a healthy summer. So that's not great. I mean, I'm nitpicking a little bit, but this is a legitimate angle here. Now, he is a guy I'm watching big time going into next year. This season, even with the weird playing time, he was at 27 minutes. All right. He went 12, 5, and 3, 1.1 steals, 1.8 threes. There is a fantasy goody guy here. He just needs the minutes. If Kerr played him 30, 31 minutes, we're getting Doc 14 points, 6 boards, 4 or 5 assists, like a really strong PRA. We're probably at about 1.2 or 1.3 steals, and we're probably at about 2.1 threes per game. Okay, I love his fantasy potential. The box score loves Pajemski, and hopefully he's right with that injury. But I will be looking for Pajemski in sleeper mode next year. Will you? Will you be looking at Pajemski in sleeper mode, like late in drafts? Is he a dice roll, or is he a no for you?
No, I'll take a flyer on Pajemski. I don't think that he's going to take 10 threes a game, potentially. News that we got before this last season started was necessarily fake. I think there is a world where he can shoot a ton of threes and score a ton of points and be a difference maker. So yeah, and based on this last season, he's going to be available late in your draft. So I kind of like Pajemski going into this year.
Let's talk Jimmy Butler, Doc. Are you drafting Jimmy Butler next season, knowing he should? Pardon me, I'm confused on my own notes here. So Jimmy, presumably,
knowing that he's Jimmy Butler.
So he's gonna be locked in, right? Right.
I mean, he should be.
I mean, he should have been in Miami, but like, can we trust the Jimmy Butler? I get like, and asking, that's the question. It all starts with Jimmy's motivation. Like, is he going to be motivated? Is he going to be locked in, or do you think he's going to trick off another regular season like he did in Miami?
I think he's going to be good to go. Like, they're still in the honeymoon phase of this relationship. So I think we've got a year of core Jimmy Butler before any shenanigans start happening. However, I'm not drafting Jimmy Butler because he's Jimmy Butler and I don't want him on my team. Now, if I was playing in a big money league, big money league, and I just didn't care about what name was attached to a player and only wanted to win, would I consider drafting Jimmy Butler? Of course I would. But it's easier for me where I am now in life. Is like, okay, Jimmy Butler's available, Paul George is available, and this guy's available. Give me this guy. Just because I don't want to deal with Jimmy, and I don't want to deal with Paul George. I don't want to deal with Kawhi. Just give me somebody who gives me some hope.
Yeah, I like that answer, man. I will take Jimmy Butler if he falls, but he's not going to fall. He's going to be overdrafted because he plays with Steph and Draymond and
because
the Warriors.
He's Jimmy Butler.
The dynasty, Jimmy Butler. He's a big name guy. People love Jimmy Butler. I used to love Jimmy Butler. Doc, I was a huge, and that's a part of the sadness here too. Like I used to be a huge Jimmy Butler guy. Like he's in Milwaukee belittling Giannis and Drew Holiday, right? Like, this is my house, right? And he's at Fiserv Forum doing that. I love that. Like, I love that Jimmy Butler, right? But he went Hollywood, bro. He went Hollywood. He got soft. He took that Hollywood bag. He went soft on us. Tricked off regular seasons. And so now it's weird. But I will mess with Jimmy if he falls, like around after ADP. I'm not taking him at value because of the injury propensity. But he'll be overdrafted. The point's going to be moot, Doc. He's going to be taken in like the 3rd or 4th round when I'm looking at him in like the 6th or 7th round. So I won't have any shares of Jimmy Butler. He's going to be overdrafted to me.
Jimmy's going to be 36 when the season starts. 36 years old. Yeah, no. Just for that reason alone, I'm out.
So what do I got here? 6th round for me is a yes. Above that is a no for Jimmy Butler. His average draft position is ADP for next season right now is late 4th, early 5th round. And that's why I say like 6th round, wow, Jimmy Butler's still there? Okay, I'll take him in the 6th round. But he's not going to be in the 6th round. He'll most likely go in the 4th round of most drafts. But it's key to note that Jimmy Butler has exited the dead to me list. Because, dude, the dead to me list, right? It's kind of like a zombie movie where like you can be dead and then you can be undead, right? So it's kind of one of those things. Like I can undead you. Like Zion and Ja are dead to me right now, okay? I can't really imagine them getting undead with me, Doc. I can't. I can't envision the scenario where Ja and Zion get out of that grave with me, okay? Well, but Jimmy Butler is no longer on the dead to me list, but it's
you know
conditional.
What? That's where I am with Kawhi Leonard. That sums it up. I'm probably not going to draft him. He's probably going to go higher than I want to take him. I still don't trust him, but I really respected what he did last year.
And he's no longer on the dead to you list.
He kind of is not. He sort of is, but he's sort of not.
I understand.
I can see a world where I would take Kawhi Leonard.
He's undead to you. He's not fully alive. Okay, he's not a human. But he's undead. He's kind of in that middle ground. By the way, I love
undead.
He's undead. I love zombie movies are the freaking best, man. Love zombie movies. And I'm not a horror movie guy. It's ironic. I love zombie movies, though. And you're like, for the gore? No, not for the gore, for the plots. The plots in zombie movies are amazing. Quentin Post, Doc, is another guy that I'm watching heading into next year. And you mentioned him as a surprise player. Certainly he was. And I hated on Quentin Post, and it had nothing to do with the young fella. Do I feel bad about it? No, we're just riffing out here. But I held a grudge against him because of Steve Kerr shelving Trace Jackson Davis. So he was like catching shrapnel from like that explosion, right? It was like unintended harm to Quentin Post. All right, I do apologize for it because Quentin Post, dude, won me over. Bro, I'm telling you, I've said this once, I'll say it again. Doc, Quentin Post got a wetter, bro. He does. He's got a hinge. He's got a gooseneck, man, that's like, dude, look, Steve Kerr is a great coach and a great judge of talent and one of the best basketball men we've ever had on planet Earth in our sport. All right, playing, winning championships, coaching, winning championships. He was an executive. He was a broadcaster. He's done everything, okay? And he's been elite at everything he's done. I love Steve Kerr that way. His rotations in fantasy bother the crap out of us, but I do respect the body of work. I got to give them credit, man. They got Quentin Post, like the 57th pick or something like that? Like, Quentin Post, who the hell's that, right? We know now. This dude, Doc, check out these stats. He was 1.7 threes per game in 16 minutes per game. That's wild. 1.7 threes in 16 minutes a game. That doesn't compute, bro. He shot 408 in terms of percentage as a rookie. He's got $1 million stroke, and his role is only going to ascend with the Golden State Warriors, Doc. I would not be surprised if he starts for the Warriors next year. I would not be surprised.
Okay. Yeah, I dig it. I kind of like him.
Andre is saying the good people of the Netherlands forgive you, Rick. What? Andre, help me out. What is Quentin Post from the Netherlands? Is that Post? I didn't even know that, Doc. I didn't even know he was from the Netherlands. He was born in Amsterdam. Did not know that, bro. Didn't I didn't know if he was foreign or American. I just knew he was Quentin Post, and he was kind of doghoused there, TJD style for a little while. But he got out, dude. That weather got him out. Born in Amsterdam, bro. Born in Amsterdam.
Born in Amsterdam.
All right, let's move on to the Nuggets. The Denver Nuggets, dude. Couple of sexy teams. Like I said, Fantasy NBA today. Hall of Famer Steve Alexander. I'm Rick Kamla. Who is your fantasy MVP for the Denver Nuggets?
Well, it's pretty funny. You go to ESPN and pull up the Denver Nuggets team stats page has everybody's stats broken down on it. And at the very top, it has team leaders. And Nikola Jokic's name goes all the way across the board. He is just a force. I was surprised a little bit at just how good. Oh, pardon me. Peyton Watson led the team in blocks at 1.4. A lot of us went all in on Wemby this year and let Jokic slide to number 2. That turned out to be a mistake. Wemby got hurt, no fault of his own. And Jokic, as good as Wemby was, Jokic was just so reliable every single day, day in, day out. 30 points, 13 rebounds, 10 assists, averaged a triple-double, 2 steals, only 0.6 blocks, which seems a little bit weird. You think of Jokic as a shot blocker, and he sort of is, but he sort of isn't. 57% from the floor, 42% from 3, 2 3-pointers per game, and 80% from the line. Like, there's nothing that Jokic can't do, except the only thing he could add to his game is block more shots. Ricky only blocks 0.6 blocks per game. That is interesting to me. I for some reason had it in my mind he was closer to 1, but it doesn't matter. He's so good.
He has been closer to 1 before as he gets older, obviously, because the year before, Doc, he was at 0.9, 0.7, 0.9, 0.7, 0.6, 0.7, 0.8, 0.8, 0.6. He's at 0.7 blocks for his career, and that's remained pretty static year by year. Next year he could get back up to 0.9 blocks. I don't think it's going to go below 0.6. But I like the overall, right? Sometimes with guys, you got to add up the blocks and the steals. He's at 2.4 combined defensive stats. I like that. That works for me. You're averaging 1.2 in each. And you look at the year before, 1.4 steals, 0.9 blocks. That's 2.3. Okay. Again, solid. I can work with that. The year before he was 1.3 steals, 0.7 blocks of 2. The year before he was at 2.4 combined defensive stats. That works for me. And remember the narrative leading up to the championship, he's a defensive liability. He doesn't play any defense. It's bull crap. Yes, he does. What he doesn't do is get off the ground. Okay. He's not a rim protector, but he does play defense. He gets a lot of deflections. He's got great hands to get steals. He'll poke a ball away a time or two. He's really smart and competitive that way, but he's good with his hands. He's good getting steals. And so I'll take it. 1.8 steals is elite. That was just off the league lead last year. Yes, he's my fantasy MVP for the Denver Nuggets. There can be no other choice here. When you think about, Doc, and look at this, 29.6. Okay, like 29.6. We got to talk about that number for a minute, Doc, because 29.6 for Nikola Jokic is not normal. He was 26.4 the year before, 24.5 the year before, 27.1, 26.4, okay? So he won MVPs at 26.4 twice and 27.1. This year he was at 29.6. Dude, he was up 2.5 points per game off of his previous career high of 27.1. 2.5 points per game, Doc. That's huge. And he only took like one more shot per game, only had one more free throw attempt per game. But it was the efficiency that went up. 57% from the field, almost 42% on threes, and as you said, shot 80% from the free throw line. I think kind of a sneaky part of his line, Doc, is that 29.6 points. We need to be making a bigger deal out of that.
I mean, it defies logic, right? KCP wasn't there, and maybe that's what pushed him up, 2.5 more points. I don't really know, because Christian Brown had a really good season, scored 15.5 points a game, which you think would have covered the KCP loss, but very interesting that he scored that much. I would not count on 30 out of Jokic every night next year.
That's a good point. I actually screwed up a stat, not a big deal, but I said he was up about one shot per game. I was actually looking at the field goal made column. My bad. He went from 10.4 made to 11.2. Attempts, he went from 17.9 to 19.5. So he was up 1.6 FGAs per game. And like I said, up 2.5 points with, again, up one free throw attempt per game. So the making up the difference there, to me, is the efficiency. But Nikola Jokic, just a spectacular year, and he is our fantasy MVP. Okay, I got some questions for you here on Jokic. Doc, right now, you have the ace. Is Jokic your pick? Right now. We are drafting at 12:06. You're on the clock, and we're here on June 13th. So talk to me.
Yes. I'm taking Jokic.
Jokic is the one.
Right now. Now, when the season gets here and when draft season gets here, if all the reports on Wemby are good, Wemby's my guy, I'm probably going to take Wemby. Because I'm stubborn and I don't know. Every time somebody takes somebody other than Jokic at number one over the last 5 years, the guy that gets him at number two is like, thank you so much. Like, I really appreciate you not taking Jokic. Like, that was really cool. And that team ends up being really, really good the whole year. So it may not be the smartest move. I'm not sure I would tell everybody to do that. But at this point, if we're drafting right now, I'm taking Jokic.
Me too. I am, and I'm gonna be like Doc. I'm gonna put an asterisk on it. I'm gonna leave it subject to change for Wemby. I can tell you right now that I would not draft SGA or Luka over Jokic. I would not. But I might draft Wemby over Jokic. Probably won't. But I might. I'm just leaving that possibility open for the gargantuan monster that is Wemby as a fantasy player. But Jokic is. I love SGA and Luka. Give me a break. Their stat lines are historically incredible, but they're not Jokic. And I have a hard time not seeing him average a triple-double again next year. Do you think he'll average a triple-double again next year, Doc?
I think now that he's figured out how to do that and the the tube of toothpaste has been opened, yeah, I think he's going to keep doing it. Just like Westbrook, he broke the barrier and the seal one time, and he just kept doing it. And I
Good point.
think that Jokic is like, that was fun. I want to do that again.
Great point, man. He said in like his really funny, charming Serbian tone, something like, "I think I never did that before." About the triple double thing, he said something like, "I think I never did that before," so that was pretty cool. To your point, I think you just made an outstanding point that like he was at 9.6 and 9.2 and like knocking on the door and he broke through, and now that you've done that, you kind of know how to do it, and probably is pretty fun to see that. I mean, he's the third guy in league history to do it. And Russ, in that period, averaged a triple-double 4 out of 5 seasons, which is mind-blowing, absolutely mind-blowing. It's my favorite Westbrook stat. And anyway, so Jokic may go on a little bit of a run like that. And then one more question on Jokic here. Is he still the best player in the world, or is it SGA, or is it Luka? Or is it Wemby?
I mean, it's such a weird thing to think about because athletically and it's the way he plays. You don't look at Jokic and be like, "Oh my God, what a thing of beauty! What a powerful, fast, leaping beast!" Because he's not any of those things. He's plotting but he makes it work. He's the most effective player in the league, that's for sure. Yeah, he's the best player in the league. There you go.
I mean, I like the answer. We went through the recesses and the corners and the wormholes of your brain on that one. Had to get to the bottom of it. He's even if no matter what happens in the finals this year, he's the best player in the world. There's nobody I'd rather have on my team. He plays hurt. He shows up every night. Puts up a gargantuan stat line. Teammates love him. He makes his teammates better. I mean, he's just an incredible, incredible player. Already won several MVPs. I think he's going to be the MVP this upcoming season. He had an MVP. This might have been the best non-MVP season ever, by the way. Doc,
it had to be, right?
It has to be.
I mean, it's a triple-double with 29 points.
It's a 30-point triple-double, right?
Yeah.
It's 30, 13, and 10. And you're at 1.8 steals, again, right off the league lead. You're at 2 threes per game. You shot 57%, and you were on a good team. There's no way there's been a better stat line that did not win MVP than that. No way. Andre's probably like, I bet you there was one, and he loves doing that stuff.
Well,
we love Andre Lemouche.
Michael Jordan lost the MVP to Karl Malone that year. They beat Utah in 98, and Jordan used it as motivation in the playoffs. He's like, okay, you give him the MVP. I don't care. So I wonder how good that Michael Jordan season was. It was probably pretty good, but I don't know. But this one, I mean, 29.6, 12.7, and 10.2 is historic. It just is.
Andre's asking another great question. Is Jokic the most skilled big man of all time? Not only is he the most skilled big man of all time, he is not that far off of like Kyrie and Steph for like all-time skill. Doc, I have never, ever seen anybody in my life better at tapping balls around the basket. You know what I mean? Like the little tip rebound putback he has. I've never seen anybody do that as well as Jokic. And I've watched Kareem. I watched Moses Malone, the 90s centers, right? Nobody had that feathery touch, bro. And he's got that little twirling righty hook, the little twirling lefty hook. He never misses those shots, dude. He's got the runner in the lane, that high arcer. He's got the iron leg fadeaway that Dirk had. Dude, yes. Is he the most skilled big man of all time?
Yeah. Yes. And the term you were looking for is soft hands, man. He's got those soft hands. And everything you talked about him doing is all about the feel and the touch he has in his hands. And, I think he's the most skilled big man ever. He might be the most skilled. He's one of the most skilled players ever, whether he's a big man or not.
Handling is where Curry and Kyrie would have a big advantage over Jokic, right? And Jokic is a good ball handler, but those guys are magicians with the ball. Like, bah, 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 in and out, and crossovers and all kinds of stuff, and weaving in and out of dudes. Like, Jokic, okay, I told you, Will Chamberlain, 0.4 points per game while chipping in 25.7 rebounds. Wait a minute, I think we got a shooting. Oh, 50%.
50.4.
Oh, okay, 50.4 points. Oh, he's saying this was a non-MVP year. Oh, Andre did it again. Dude, my boy Wilt averaged 50 and 26 and did not win MVP. I stand corrected. 50 and 26 is better than a 30-point triple-double, bro.
Dude, you can't compare 61 to 2025. I mean, 1961. I mean,
I think you can. It's NBA history. It happened, dude. Bro, Wilt got snubbed. I am pissed off 800 years later about Wilt getting snubbed off of 50 and 26. Of course they gave it to Bill Russell and the big bad Celtics. Oh, my God. And he says Jordan didn't even finish second. He finished third that year you were talking about. Magic
That's a different year.
Magic and Barkley were ahead of him. Oh,
yeah, that was 89-90.
Well, dude, do you also remember when everybody was talking about Clyde Drexler and how great he was, and how Michael Jordan said, oh, he's the second best shooting guard in the game, and he put him under the hardwood. Do you remember that in that NBA Finals?
Yeah.
Like, Clyde did nothing. Clyde's just doing his thing out in Portland.
Nicest guy in the league.
Nicest guy in the league. And he was the second best shooting guard in the NBA. He never said, yo, I'm coming for Jordan. But Mike took the media creation and went at Clyde, dude. And it was unholy. It was unholy, bro. Yeah. Bro, the guy's, oh my God, he's the all-time predator. The all-time predator. All right, we got to go. Players who surprised, Doc, for the Denver Nuggets.
I think Christian Brown is about the only one. And I wasn't all that surprised by him. I think at the beginning of the season, when we were drafting our fantasy teams, it was sort of like, is it going to be Christian Brown? Is it going to be Jalen Pickett? Well, it wasn't even close. It was Christian Brown. He was solid. Murray was solid. Michael Porter Jr. was solid. Aaron Gordon was solid. Everybody was solid. There weren't a lot of surprises on this team.
For me, Christian Brown was a surprise. Am I surprised that his stats went up? No. But I'm surprised that his stats went up as high as they did. Doc, 15.4 points, really good number. 5.2 rebounds, really good number. 2.6 assists, decent number for the role that you're playing. 1.1 steals, 0.5 blocks, so 1.6 combined defensive stats, not a strength, and 1.13. So not a strong fantasy gold guy. But, Doc, I think that 1.13 ball is going to rise. He shot 58% last year from the field. 58%. I believe that as Brown ages, matures, develops, he is going to take more bad shots. The percentage is going to fall, but those bad shots aren't bad shots. They're three balls, right? But they've got him in like a really efficient lane right now. But I think as he, continues to play and like more will come to him. By the way, watching Denver broadcast, Nikola Jokic and Christian Brown are a thing. Those two guys. They're like rating when they're on the court together is off the charts. So like Brown is guaranteed minutes because of how well he plays with Jokic. Jokic loves him. And so that's just like, you don't have to worry about, oh man, is Brown going to lose his role or whatever. No. It is as locked in as any role player's role in the entire NBA. He's going to play the minutes. He played 79 games, started 77. And Michael Porter Jr. surprised me, Doc. Just because, like, if you told me that, dude, he played 77 games, 18, 7, and 2 PRA, 1.1 combined defensive stats, it's not his thing, 2.5 threes from a power forward, yes, sir, 50% shooting, 39% on threes, 77 from the line. That's a pretty dang good stat line, bro, from a guy who came out of Missouri all jacked up, and how many back surgeries has he had? So what's surprising to me is that MPJ played 77 games. What the F is Quickly's excuse and Ingram's excuse and D'Angelo Russell's excuse. This guy's had multiple back surgeries, Doc, and he's playing 77 freaking games. That's what I'm talking about. So MPJ was a little bit of a surprise for me.
I can agree with that. I was a MPJ freak like from day one, so I was always overdrafting him, and he kind of soured on me because he burned me so many times. But he had a really good year. I still draft him. I'm not scared to draft MPJ. I just do it where we're supposed to do it now instead of reaching for him. And then the other surprising thing I think was where'd it go? I just had it. The 1.4 blocks for Peyton Watson. There it is. He only started 18 games. He only scored eight points a game with 3 rebounds, but he had 1.4 blocks, and he can hit a 3. He's intriguing, but as long as Aaron Gordon and MPJ are there, it's going to be tough for him to break through.
And Brown, yeah, he's 20-minute per game type of bench player. So some players who disappointed, Doc. I'll get us started here. Aaron Gordon. It seemed like he missed the whole season. I don't know. That was my experience, right? And I'm not really a manager of Aaron Gordon because he's light in the fantasy gold. He's not a block steal guy, and maybe, what is it, like 1.5, 3 balls a game, 15 points, 6 boards, 2 assists. It's just not a stat line that I'm crazy about. I love him in reality. I mean, love him in reality. And the most snubbed dunker of all time. The greatest dunk of all time is him going over the mascot and then under both legs, straight out, and changed hands. It
looks like he's sitting in a chair. Like that was pretty sweet.
It's the greatest dunk of all time to me. When he jumped over the mascot and changed hands under his legs. Like, what? By the way, that's the best slam dunk contest of all time. Him and Levine. Dude, what theater, man. Anyway, Aaron Gordon was spectacular in the playoffs, had the big shots, but in the regular season playing 51 games. Dude, Zeke Naji. Do you remember when the Nuggets paid him? I believe it was 4 years and $32 million, $8 million a year for Zeke Naji, okay? This dude can't even beat out the 50-year-old DeAndre Jordan, okay? DeAndre Jordan's probably like, dude, will you step up so I can damn retire around here? But Zeke Naji won't step up, so DJ can't retire because Jokic needs a better backup than Zeke freaking Naji. But that thing is never going to happen. Julian Strawther disappointed me, Doc. Shot only 35% on threes. And then finally, Dario Saric. Remember him? Do you even know who he plays for? Doc, did you know that he played 16 games and played 13 minutes a game for the Nugs this year? Did you think that Dario Saric would have more of a role than that this year? Because I did.
Yeah, I did. A little bit. But he's homie Dario, man. It's just never going to happen.
Homie Dario. So who disappointed for you on this Nuggets team?
No one really. I mean, like you kind of covered it. I would have liked to see more out of DeAndre Jordan. I mean, he played in 56 games. He made 5 starts, and he probably balled out in like 3 of those 5 starts. But when Jokic is in front of you, there's nothing you can do. The Westbrook thing, you know who I'm disappointed in? I'm disappointed in the Nuggets for firing Michael Malone right before the playoffs started. And they took OKC to game 7, right? Like, what if they didn't fire Michael Malone? Do they win that series? Maybe. So that's who I'm disappointed in.
Pardon me, spazzing out over here. I like that call a lot. For me, for the New York Knicks, Doc, this is so easy. Hire Michael Malone. Pay him $10 million a year, 3 years, and move on with your life. Michael Malone, he's a New Yorker. He's got ties to the franchise. Duh! But no, we're going to try to go out and poach everybody else's rock star coach. Like, these dumbasses actually thought they had a chance at Ime Udoka. Are they out of their bleeping minds? All right, off-season outlook here for the Nugs. We got to go to Russell Westbrook here, Doc. He has a player option on his contract, signed a 2-year deal with the Nugs last summer. It's a veteran minimum deal, but it's a healthy veteran minimum deal because of Russ's years of service. It's at about $4+ million per year. Not a bad veteran minimum deal. I want Russ to come back to Denver so badly.
Isn't he going to Europe? Isn't that?
There was a report that an Israeli team wants to, and Andre's saying it's fake, but there was a report that an Israeli team was going to maybe come after him with a big offer and all that kind of stuff.
Wow. They asked
He
me
said
about
lies.
That. They asked me about that on the radio yesterday. Like, what do you think about Russ going to Europe? And I was like, oh, did that happen? They'll love him there.
He ain't going to Europe, man. There's a spot in the NBA for he doesn't have to go the Pat Bev route. Pat Bev, I love some Pat Bev. I missed Pat Bev in the NBA last year, bro. Let's get him back. Dude, if Corey Joseph has a job in the NBA, how the F does Patrick Beverly not have a job in the NBA?
I miss not having
Corey Joseph, bro.
I miss not having to weed through fake news to get to the real stuff. That's annoying.
Dude, Garrett Temple still has a job in this league, and Patrick Beverly does not.
So is Westbrook coming back? Because isn't that why Michael Malone got fired? Because he gave Westbrook preferential treatment or something?
Well, that was the report, and I'm not saying it's untrue. I was worried about Coach Adelman maybe like playing Russ less, or like maybe he's not his guy. But Adelman played the shit out of Russell Westbrook, bro. And in the playoffs, like that wasn't an issue. Like Adelman used Russell Westbrook a lot like Malone used Russell Westbrook. Dude, Russell Westbrook he literally might play the hardest of any player in the entire NBA. He's in the top 5 of play hard and has been his entire career. Coaches love effort guys, right? What do coaches always say? I don't coach effort. That's not my job to coach effort. So they love a Russell Westbrook, who you never needed to worry or talk about effort with him. I mean, it's full octane all the time.
He'll be a free agent on June 30th. He's probably gone.
That's your prediction.
I don't usually when these guys when they become full-blown free agents, they don't end up I feel like they don't end up where they came from, but maybe I'm wrong. But I don't think he's going back to Denver.
I think that's really, really dangerous for us. He has declined his 3.4 player option and will become here's my thing. I hope he did this knowing what's next. Does that make sense? I hope he did this already with another gig in hand. I hope he did not do this just to cast himself free out into the free agent universe of nothingness. Dude, Doc, nobody wanted Russell Westbrook, bro. There was a period in time, and I think it's bullcrap, but there was a period in time probably 2 years ago where nobody in the league wanted Russell Westbrook. Nobody. He was toxic. He had a bad reputation. His game was flagging. Everybody in LA was dumping on him because of that dumbass trade they made. Dude, his career was in the dumpster. And now he's gotten out of it with Denver and a little bit with the Clippers on the way. How many other teams are going to belly up to that bar? By the way, Doc, I will tell you this right now. If the Nuggets let Russell Westbrook go, I'm going to downgrade them going into next year. Because I love the juice and the life and the spark that he gave that team off the bench. And if they're missing that, no. I will fade the Nugs next year if they don't have Russ. And now if they back him up with, they go get Kevin Porter Jr. or something like that. Okay, cool. Like you've mitigated that. But if they let Russ go and they don't replace him, I'm going to downgrade this team, bro.
I hear you. I feel it. I don't know. I feel like somebody's going to step up and pay Westbrook because I don't think his reputation is changed all that much. I mean, I still think I've never seen a better player more disregarded than Russell Westbrook. Like people just don't like, they don't like him for whatever reason. I'm okay with Russ. I very curious to see where he ends up.
People don't like him, Doc, because he's unique. He's different. He's himself. He tells it like it is. He's honest. He does not care what you think. He does not care about your feelings. He's Russell Westbrook. And he's a very good human being. He helps in the community. He's got businesses outside of basketball. He's a great family man. Like there's not a lot not to like here, but people develop opinions about people through the stupid judging that us human beings do. And I think that's why Russ has been put in a very negative box by a lot of shot callers and owners around the league. And by the way, he's been in a lot of teams now, right? And so those doors close pretty much every time you leave them. Washington, Houston, OKC. I guess he could go back to OKC, but if you're OKC, do you really want to get into Russ and have him jumble up Aaron Wiggins and Kaysen Wallace and Caruso and all? They don't need Russ, bro. Right? They don't need Russ. And I would not want Russ to go to OKC. Draft-wise, Denver does not have a first-round pick. Free agent-wise, DeAndre Jordan, Vlatko Kankar, Doc's guy, Dario Saric, Russell Westbrook, and some other guys that you don't even know who the hell they are. Neither do I. Players to watch, Doc, here as we wrap up our Warriors and Nuggets episode. For me, Doc, I'll let you go first on this one. Players to watch, situations to watch for the Nugs heading into next year.
Well, we just broke down Westbrook all the way from a fake signing with Europe to being a unrestricted free agent on June 30th. So we got to see where he goes. And I'm curious to see if what Peyton Watson does next year. There's not really a lot of room for him to move and do his thing with Gordon and Brown and Porter all there. But I would like to see Watson get an opportunity to have a little bit more of a featured role. That's about it.
Dude, I'm squirming because Andre corrected me on Vlatko Cancar. Now, is it Chankar or Chanchar?
Chanchar.
Vlatko Cancar. I got Vlatko right. Chanchar. Okay. Vlatko Cancar. I know he's boys with Jokic. I think, dude, Vlatko Cancar, Doc, Vlatko Cancar is the Thanasis Antetokounmpo of the Denver Nuggets. That is Jokic's homie. And I think Vlatko Cancar is only on that roster because he's Jokic's homie, bro. Do you remember Jack Haley with Dennis Rodman back in the day?
I do.
Jack Haley was the Rodman whisperer. If you had Rodman, you had to have Jack Haley. It was like you had to have both players. And Jack Haley was like, he didn't play very much, man. He was not on the fantasy radar ever. But sometimes you get these hookups, bro. Sometimes you get these hookups, like Thanasis up there with Giannis. All right, dude, seriously, though. Jamal Murray here, Doc. Will you draft him in the 4th round or the 5th round? His ADP right now for next season is at 47. All right, that puts him at the end of round 4, the beginning of round 5. Last year, 67 games. I like. 21, 4, and 6 PRA. I like. Half a block. I like. 1.4 steals. I like. 2.3 threes. And he went 47, 39, 89. He flirted with a 50, 40, 90, bro. And I think there's still upside to his game. He's never made an all-star team yet. So are you okay drafting Jamal Murray at the end of the 4th round, beginning of the 5th round?
I guess I'm okay with it. I don't see myself doing it. My son loves Jamal Murray. He loves drafting Jamal Murray. I don't. I feel like he's actually injury prone. And I don't trust him. I feel like he's always banged up. He's a playoff savant, but he had a good year. I have no problem with Jamal Murray, but I'm probably not drafting him.
I feel a lot better about Murray in the 5th round than I do the 4th round, and I would draft Jamal Murray in the 5th round. And then 2 young dudes, Doc, Jalen Pickett and Deron Holmes. Jalen Pickett had a triple-double in one of those games where he was filling in for Jamal Murray at the end of the year, and he's coming in this program. He's not there yet, but I got my eye on him, okay? And then the other guy I got my eye on, Doc, is Deron Holmes. I don't know if you remember him. He was drafted by the Nugs like 26, 25, 27 in the 2024 draft. And viewing tape of him, I freaking loved Deron Holmes, dude. Dude, you know, you like Jarris Walker, right? You kind of like Jarris Walker a little bit?
Yeah, yeah.
He's Jarris Walker-ish. He's active, shot blocker, steal guy, hits threes. He's got a very fantasy-friendly game. He's kind of a noisy player. You know what I mean? He's a quick twitch, kind of noisy player. And he's a combo forward. He's like a small forward, power forward. And I think he's going to be a big part of the plan in Denver this year, Doc. I really do. 18 minutes a game, 20 minutes a game. But, like, we're going to know who Deron Holmes is this year. And so I got my eye on him. But, and frankly, theoretically, because we haven't seen him play in the NBA yet, I feel like Denver missed him a little bit last year. I feel like they could have used that pop and spark at the forward spot coming off the bench. So I'm watching for Deron Holmes' recovery. I believe it was an ACL. It was ACL or Achilles. Pretty sure it was ACL.
I can't wait to draft Deron Holmes right in front of you in 30 deep.
Dude, like, he's gonna be a 30 deep warrior.
Like 8th, 9th round, just swiping when we got them all queued up and you're locked and loaded and you're like, that's my guy. And nobody else is gonna take him and I'm gonna pop him and you're gonna lose your ish.
Damn it. This takes me back to all the WNBA shows where I was talking up Kalia Copper. And then she blew a tire and she's out like 6 weeks, but none of us knew that at the time, right? And in the Ethos leagues, I didn't get Copper because I talked her up too much and she was, I guess, maybe slightly overdrafted based on the injuries she's dealing with right now. But we are out of here. You are all up to date here on the Nugs. You're all up to date here on the Golden State Warriors. Splashy, provocative episode. Retweet this on your timeline. Let everybody know that Cam and Doc are the GOATs. We're the best in the biz. And we're doing our thing off-season style as we take you through all 30 teams. For Hall of Famer Steve Alexander. For non-Hall of Famer, but he should be in the Hall of Fame of producing BITB, Andre Lemouche. Rick Kamla, we thank you all as well. And we thank our great sponsor, Bet Online. We will see you soon with another episode of the Fantasy NBA Today.